Good morning, America. January 9th, it is 7:30 CST. We're getting a little snow and rain here in Chicago. We're amping up on the chaos here at Land Cruiser Midwest and Migrant Mayhem. The mayhem is going full tilt. Hope you're enjoying the music this morning. We're mixing it up a little bit. I am a DJ Wonder Chrissy, and this is Migrant Mayhem. Let's get ready to start the show for January 9th. Look at that, 9. Get 9 here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me bring the music down, because that's what the DJ does. Okay. Holy cow, that was some awesome vibe going on in that music. Thanks for joining today. Let's get right into the show. So, there doesn't seem to be much room at the inn, at least in Chicago. I'm hearing in the last couple of days we've gotten 40 buses hitting the suburbs. I don't know how they figure that out, because there's, as you said before, there's 240 some places that they could possibly drop these people. Hard to keep track of what the H-E double hockey sticks is going on, but they try, I guess. So there's like 500 living out of buses at the landing zone because they're out of moolah. They're out of this stuff. We talk about this on our channel too every once in a while. We talk about moolah. They're out of moolah, and this first video we're gonna go to New York City, and they're getting ready to evict some of their people. So that's another way that they try to get them to go somewhere else. Read between the lines. They evict them, and they try to push them off on relatives, and then they say, "Oh, you know somebody you'd like to go to Miami? Let us get you a ticket. We'll get you some Red Cross blankets, and we'll find you some of those flip-flops that you threw away, and we'll send you back to Miami, or maybe Las Vegas. Super Bowl going into Las Vegas. Should be lots of stuff going on in Vegas this time of year." So let's play this video and get an update of what's going on in Eric Adams in New York City.
Run shelters under a new 60-day shelter limit. Advocates are outraged, but the mayor says migrant families won't be left without a place to stay.
Oh no, they won't.
Janice Yu is live outside of the Row Hotel in Midtown with more for us. Janice?
Good morning, Shirley. Mayor Adams.
So I'm thinking worst case scenario, if you don't realize, there's hardly any hotel rooms left in Manhattan to begin with because of this. So all the 5-star hotel accommodations these migrants are getting, maybe just are going to get downgraded to 2 or 3-star if we're lucky. So let's see what she's got to say.
Is adamant that this move is not one to destabilize these families' lives. In fact, he says it's the exact opposite.
Wouldn't want to cause any more chaos.
It's just not fair for children to have to live out of suitcases in hotels. So he says this is
they should have a fully functional RV.
In making sure these families carry on more stable lives. The city says it has met with at least one adult member of each family at least 4 times leading up to today, making sure they have a apartments lined up, helping them to get in contact with a relative in another state or city, and providing any legal or job help they might need. And the Department of Education is also working with parents to keep students from having to switch schools. City leaders say this process works. They are adamant that it works. They say nearly 60% of people who've come through the shelter system have been able to move on with their journey.
There you go. Code words. Move on with their journey. We talked about this. Chicago and New York City has spent, I saw a figure about a week ago, $46 million to move people to other places other than Chicago and New York. Maybe some people from New York went to Chicago and some people from Chicago went to New York, but $46 million was spent helping people move on.
But critics remain unconvinced and say these limits on stays in shelters will only add to the chaos and hardship.
Children and their families will sleep on the floor of offices.
And what's wrong with that? At least they're not on the streets. You can't complain when you're getting something for free, and a 5-star hotel is way beyond the means of what's going on. You don't see them giving 5-star hotels to the American homeless sleeping in the parks in New York City, do you? No, you don't.
They will sleep on the street outside of St. Bridget's.
This is not going to be a city where we're going to place children and families on the street and have them sleep on the street. That is not going to happen.
So about 40 families will have to leave the...
Do you believe this guy? I mean, I heard what he said. Let's play that again. We heard what this guy said, but this is the type of guy that when you shake his hand, you kind of like want to clean your hand, because I don't believe what he says. He's one of those types of people.
This is not going to be a city where we're going to place children and families on the street and have them sleep on the street. That is not going to happen.
I don't believe a word that guy just said.
So about 40 families will have to leave the Row Hotel by 10 o'clock this morning. And again, this is just the first wave in migrant families who are now having to follow this 60-day.
So this is nothing more than rearranging the decks on the Titanic, folks. Remember when you played that silly game as a kid called Duck, Duck, Goose, and you try to find the empty chair? That's what's going on here. So as they move the migrants in and out of the nice hotels, they're going to try to put them into cheaper hotels or more non-luxurious accommodations. Or, oh, hey, guess what? We got this tent over on Rikers Island that I think you might like. That's what's going on here. So rightfully so, they've got a budget issue in New York City, and it's getting ugly. And I think we got one here in Chicago. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Limit. And if people don't have a place to stay, they can go back to the Roosevelt Hotel, which is that intake center, and they can reapply to enter the the city's shelter system for another 60 days. Live in...
Okay, so that's New York City. Let me see if I can find the Chicago video. We had one here. I think this is the one. This is probably the good one here.
If you have a neck hump, don't do this.
So, again, reading between the lines with this video, there's a point where they talk about, they interview some of our migrants who can't speak English. Yeah, I keep harping on that. I'm sorry, guys. If you're coming to this country, you better learn to speak the English. But anyway, they interview one, and he's complaining that they haven't gotten any food. And this is at the landing zone. So we're going to talk, on the other side, we're going to talk about, not only is it a money issue, it's a process issue. And I'm going to give you some ideas to think about, why some of this stuff is happening. So let's listen to this video. And let's see, make sure it's queued up for you guys. All right, we're there. Let's go. There we
Growing
go.
about Chicago's Migrant Intake Center in the South Loop.
And community leaders say there are 500 asylum seekers there living on CTA warming buses, and they say many are getting sick. WGN's Julian Cruz is joining us from our newsroom tonight. Julian.
Well, Ray and Micah, the folks at the Pilsen Food Pantry sounding the alarm tonight, finding hungry and sick migrants in recent days, many of them families with children struggling to stay warm as they wait for increasingly scarce shelter space.
Folks are getting sick and they're living on these buses and there's no masks, no medications.
Veronica Saldan.
So they're living on buses, and why is that? There's no money for hotels. The state doesn't have any more money. The city doesn't have any more money. They're out of options, I guess. Yet they're trying to build these tents here on the landing zone, and it's been going on for 3 or 4 days. Whoever is building those tents is moving kind of slow.
Anna and her team of volunteers from the Pilsen Food Pantry worried about the new arrivals.
Over 500 people living on these buses, and some have been on here for 5 days.
I've already been here for 4 days with my son, Marbeli Soto tells me. The 40-year-old Soto, among hundreds of newly arrived asylum seekers here in Chicago, still waiting for shelter assignments. Enduring the cold, Soto says, and also enduring the hunger.
Kids aren't eating a lot of the food that's brought. I don't know what kind of food is being delivered.
Soto's son is a severe asthmatic, she says, and she can't find medicine, she tells us, or vitamins. Nothing, she says. They're not giving us anything. Saldana says the biggest frustration for her and others, she says, has been with Chicago's OEMC, the Office of Emergency Management and Communication.
Looks like they're getting some dunk in there. That's America runs on Dunkins. Maybe to give them some donuts.
There's just no communication to people who can actually help. And
there's the key. Okay, so I watched another video, and it was placing some blame that have you ever tried to row a canoe with two people not in unison? That's what's happening to the city of Chicago in Illinois. You got Chicago doing something, you got the state of Illinois doing something, and then the city of Chicago asking Illinois for some help with something, and then the state doing that, and going back and forth. They're not in unison. It's usually, when there's a disaster or something, it's usually the city providing those services with the state kind of helping out or doing some of the work too. So it's usually one or the other. It's not both at the same time. So here you have, two, the canoes going in two different directions here. You got Chicago going over here, and the state of Illinois going this way, and they're fighting against each other. They need to have a unified presence in what they do, and that's not happening. I can tell you right now, that is not happening. So this is what happens when that happens.
And do things and provide, materials that are really basic and easy for volunteers to get a hold of.
In a written statement, spokespeople with the Illinois Department of Human Services says, quote, the state
Now, we got a lot of excuses here, but this is socialistic government at its best. You should worry about this. It's happening to the migrants. I'm not too worried about that. But when we get towards total socialism, this is the type of stuff that the people are going to be seeing. What do you think is going to happen to your pension fund when the state takes over and you got a problem and it's going to take 3 years to resolve it? Yeah, figure that one out.
Expects to launch the Little Village shelter in the coming days, and in the interim is temporarily housing 200 asylum seekers in hotel rooms.
Platitudes and excuses, that's what we're getting here. We need action, folks. We need actions, not excuses.
And also responding tonight is the Illinois Department of Human Services, and they are saying that new arrivals receive an initial health...
Here they go. They're blaming it on the border. They did. Oh, they performed a health screening at the border. Then we stuffed them into a bus with 40 other people. What else could go wrong? Yeah.
Health screening performed by Customs and Border Patrol upon entry into the United States at the landing zone in Chicago, which is operated by the city. It's similar to the shelters. The Chicago Department of Public Health is coordinating medical providers to assess patients and direct them to follow-up care with partner providers if...
A lot of gobbledygook. This sounds like a Camilla Harris word salad. They're doing a great job of making the salad and tossing it.
Needed, with the most emergent cases receiving top priority. Now, all of these issues coming just a few weeks away from a deadline when migrants, according to new Chicago policy, some of the migrants will be forced to vacate the city shelters. We'll have more at 6 o'clock. In the newsroom, Julian Cruz,
So there you go. Chicago's coming up with their deadline too. So we'll be watching what's going on in New York City and how that goes during the dead of winter, and it's going to happen the same thing here in Chicago. So there's more incoming, folks. It's not stopping. Expect more incoming. Expect them to knock on your door. Expect for them to ask for some food. Check out my video I did last night. Talk about what's going on with finances in the state of Illinois and pension funds in California and everywhere else. It's a good video. Talks more about finances that you should be aware of, and making sure that your bank is stable, because we're going to, beginning of the year, we're going to start seeing some things happen come February, beginning or middle of February. So listen to that video. It's a good video, and will make you stand up and kind of look around at your finances as we move forward in 2024. So that's what I have on the migrants. Comment down below if you got any suggestions on what they should be doing. I don't know. I still think that Brandon should just put up a tent in McCormick Place and have that, because there's more coming. There's more coming, and it's not stopping. Governor Abbott's got plenty of money to buy buses and planes, and I really think he's going to start sending some by train. But we did another video a couple days ago too, where he talked about Whitewater, Wisconsin. They got some. No one knows how they got them. They got 1,000 people in a town of 15,000 up there, and not a good situation. Not a good situation. We were up in Milwaukee yesterday, and we didn't do any filming of it, but they have these commuter lots on the highways of Milwaukee, and there's a lot of homeless with vans and RVs up there living in these commuter lots. They're struggling with that, but they don't know what Milwaukee doesn't know what a migrant is. Figure that out. Milwaukee has no idea I talked to one individual yesterday, and I said, "You got any migrants up here?" And he said, "What?" He had no clue what I was talking about. So it's a Chicago thing. It's a New York City thing, and a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but it's coming to your town. It's coming to your town. Guaranteed, folks. Guaranteed. And hey, I'll do a little commercial here for get your Fires Keeper card, guys. You're at Pato a couple days ago. Great place to be. Get a lot of benefits with these players cards up there. It's a great casino. Susie Q Slots endorses Pato. We are super happy members of the reward program, and check it out in the new year. Now's the time if you want to have some fun. You got a little extra cash that you want to blow away, and they give you some free stuff up there too. It's casino socialism is what I like to call it. Get a lot of free stuff. We got some gift cards and some free food this trip, and won a little bit. We won a little bit of money. I'll be putting out some shorts showing you just how good of a trip we had. So be looking for that. I think we're going to end it there. We'll keep you guys updated on what's going on in the migrant situation. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps get our channel growing. We've been growing for the last month, slowly but surely. So thank you for your assistance in that. And with that, I say have a good day and get ready to shovel some snow if you're in Chicago. Over and out. See ya.